Okay. The recording has started. So I'm going to be using a Pear Deck today. In the chat, I put the link to go, and then you'll need to enter in this code to join our specific Pear Deck. I see you guys connecting. Let me know if you're having any trouble. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Today, we're going to be talking about books in the library and where to find them. And like I said, this lesson would be for our kinder and first grade students right at the beginning of the year. The lesson objectives are to be able to determine the difference between everyone books, chapter books, and nonfiction books, to be able to locate the three main sections of the library to find everyone books, chapter books, and nonfiction books, and to be able to think of a topic or book that you want and to determine which section of the library you should go and look for it. And so did you know that our library has different sections to help you find what you're looking for? When you come into the library, you just might see a huge room full with books, but we actually have our library organized into different sections to help you find exactly what you're looking for. Does anyone know any of the different sections in the library and what you can find there? And you're welcome to unmute to share.
Picture books.
Yes, our library definitely has picture books.
Fairy tales.
Yes. Awesome. These are definitely books that we have in the library, and we have them sectioned so that you can go to the exact spot for the type of book that you're looking for. All right, so I have three specific books to share with you today, and they all have sharks in them. I just went to the beach and we discussed sharks a lot while we were at the beach as a family. And so I picked shark books. So the three books I have to share with you today are Nugget and Fang, I Survived the Shark Attacks of 1916, and Zoom In on Sharks, Great White Sharks. So let's talk for just a quick moment about these three types of books and why we might read these three different books about sharks. What about this Nugget and Fang book? Why do you think someone might choose this book to read?
Because it has nice pictures on it.
Yeah, it has fun pictures.
They want to read a funny story about sharks.
Yeah, it looks funny. I can see the shark is smiling big. It might look funny. He's giving a high five to the little fish. So totally, I might read Nugget and Fang because it looks fun or funny and I like pictures. Why do you think someone might read this I Survived the Shark Attacks of 1916?
To read a story about something that might have really happened.
Yeah, it looks like it might be realistic. It looks kind of scary. Maybe someone really enjoys a thrilling type book. It definitely looks like a story. What about this last book? Zoom In on Sharks, Great White Sharks. Why might someone choose this book to read?
To give information about great white sharks. So
Yeah.
facts.
Yeah, this book looks like it would give us information about sharks. Maybe we want to learn about sharks. And so we would choose this book versus the Nugget and Fang book. This book, Great White Sharks, has a picture. It looks realistic. And so this might be the book that I choose if I want to learn about sharks. But if I just want to read and enjoy a book about sharks, I might choose Nugget and Fang or the I Survived book. All right, this Nugget and Fang book is what we call an everybody book. In our library, we have all of our everybody books sectioned together. They are picture books, and they're for everybody to read. If you look at the spine of an everybody book, you're going to notice that it always starts with an E. The E is for everybody. And then it will be followed by the first 3 letters of the author's last name. So the author of Nugget and Fang is Tammy Sauer. And so we have SAU following the E. But the clue to an everybody book is looking at the spine and seeing that it begins with an E. The I Survived book is a fiction chapter book. Chapter books are longer books. Occasionally they have pictures, but not always. They're usually read in more than one sitting, unless you really love to sit and relax and read for a long while. But a chapter book is a longer book. And when you look at the spine of a chapter book, it will start with the letters FIC, which stands for fiction, which means it's still a story like our picture books, but this is a longer chapter book. And then it's also followed by the first 3 letters of the author's last name. So the clue to a fiction chapter book is looking at the spine and finding FIC. And then our last book, The Great White Sharks, is a nonfiction book. Nonfiction books are teaching books or fact books, and we use these books to learn more about a topic or a subject. And when we look at the spine of a nonfiction book, it begins with numbers. Our nonfiction book section is also sectioned off, and we'll be learning more about those sections on another visit to the library. But the numbers help group the books into topics. And so all of our nonfiction books begin with numbers. And then they also have the first 3 letters of the author's last name. All right, so our library has these 3 main sections to house these 3 different types of books. We have an everybody section, and a fiction chapter book section, and a nonfiction section. This is the everybody section. This is where you'll find books like Nugget and Fang and other picture books for enjoyment. These books are not just for younger students, they are for everybody at our school. Even our oldest students really enjoy our everybody section. This is our fiction chapter book section. Like the I Survived book, you would find it here along with other chapter books, longer books to enjoy. And just a reminder that this section, the books start with the FIC. And then this section of our library is the nonfiction book section. And here you'll find other fact books and teaching books about specific topics that you might want to learn more about. And all of these books on the spine will begin with a number. So what are the different sections of the library and what can you find there? Let's see. At the bottom of this slide, do you see a place where you could type in an answer?
No, I don't see one.
Okay, that's all right. We can just unmute and share. What are the different sections of the library that we learned about today, and what can you find there?
The everybody section, you can find picture books.
Excellent. Yes.
The nonfiction section that starts with numbers, so it's easier to identify.
Yeah.
And then there's the fiction section that has chapter books. And those are the types of books that you would have to sit down and complete in more than one setting.
Excellent. All right. What would make you visit or browse one of the 3 sections of the library? And I think we just kind of shared about that if we went to the nonfiction section, we'd be looking to maybe learn about a new topic. And our fiction section and our everybody section would be stories to enjoy. What section do you see yourself visiting the most? And you can drag the red star at the bottom to the section that you picture yourself visiting the most when you come to the library. Will you visit the everybody section, the fiction chapter book section, or the nonfiction section? All right, looks like 2 friends in our class chose the everybody section, and then 1 friend chose the fiction chapter book section. Excellent. I challenge you to think about visiting all 3 sections when you come to the library, looking for an everybody book, maybe looking for a chapter book to share with your family, and then picking a nonfiction book as well. But of course, we all have our favorite sections and the type of books that we like the best. All right, we're going to do some practice. I'm going to show you a book, and then you'll drag the red star and show me what section of the library it's from. All right, this first book is Let's Go for a Drive. I have the spine here, and we have a clue there on the spine of what section it's from. Excellent. Yes, this is the everybody section. Okay. Let's see. Oop, I think it didn't advance, and then it advanced too much. Sorry about that. All right, I have another book here. It's called Elephants. What section of the library would you find this book? And again, we can look at the spine there. It has a bit of a clue. Excellent. That's right, the nonfiction section. All right, I have another book with elephants. It's called The Magician's Elephant. And we have the spine here with a clue. What section would we find this book? Yes, this is a chapter book from Kate D. Camillo. It's a longer book with chapters. And the clue there is the FIC. Okay. How about this book? Basketball for Fun. What section of the library would you find this book? Awesome. Yes, nonfiction. We might pick up this book if we're wanting to learn more about basketball. Okay, I have this book called Rebound. There's a clue there on the spine. Yes, this is a chapter book. And this book, Pass the Ball, Mo. Where would we find this book in the library? Awesome. This is an everybody book. It's a picture book, could be enjoyed by everyone. Fantastic job. All right, next we're going to look at the catalog on the computer. When you're in the library, you can browse the sections, which means walking around, looking at the books there, knowing if you prefer a chapter book today or a picture book or a factual book. But if you're looking for a specific book or a specific topic, the catalog on the computer can help you find what you're looking for. And so we're going to do that now. We have 2 computers in our library to search for books, and this is exactly how I found the shark books to share with you today. Right here at the top, you can type in, oh, we got logged out there. All right, right up here at the top, I can type in any sort of topic. I can also type in a title or an author name, and the catalog will help me find books that are in our library. So I just typed in shark. And I just wanted to show you some of the things when you search the catalog that you'll notice. You'll see a picture of the book. You'll see the title of the book. You'll see the author. You'll also see the call number. And that's what we were looking at on the spine of a book, the E, the FIC, or the numbers. And so this is also like an address for your book of where it lives on the shelf. So when I see a book in the catalog with numbers, I know that this book is going to live in the nonfiction section. When I see a book like Shark versus Train in the catalog that begins with an E, I know that this book is living in the everybody section. And then when I see this book, like the Shark King, I see FIC, and this book is going to live in the chapter book section. Now, our chapter book section has an additional special section for graphic novels. And so if it also has the word graphic there, that means that that book lives with our graphic novels, which are chapter books, which is still in our fiction chapter book section. So we can check the catalog for we can browse a subject like sharks. There's the I Survived book. Or we can look for a specific book. Like, for example, we looked at the Let's Go for a Drive earlier. Okay, there it is. It shows that Mo Willems is the author. And then there's its address, its call number. It begins with an E, so I know that I can find this book in the Everybody section. Later, when you visit the library, we'll be talking about how to specifically find a book on its specific section or place on the shelf. But for today, we're just going to be talking about those 3 sections. And so that you know where you could go to browse. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So now it's going to be your turn to find a book. I want to suggest that you visit Storyline Online or Unite for Literacy. These are both resources that have online books for reading. They're free. There's no login. Storyline Online, if you haven't used it, actually reads the books aloud, and it's has actors from the SAG-AFTRA Foundation. And so they actually read the book out loud, but they have quite a few titles, and these titles do focus more on fiction stories. So if that's something that you're more interested in, you might want to head to Storyline Online. Unite for Literacy is early reader resource. So it can be used for your earliest readers. And most of the titles at Unite for Literacy are nonfiction, and they have realistic pictures. So if that's something you're more interested in, you might want to head to Unite for Literacy. So right now, I'd love for you to go to one of those websites and pick a book that you're interested. If you were visiting the library, you might want to check out. And then we're going to share what you've chosen and what section of the library you think you would find that book. So I'm going to give you just a minute to do that. And those clickable links are in the chat. I had posted those earlier. Okay, if you've had a minute to visit one of the sites and you've picked a book that you'd like to share, I welcome you to unmute and share what book you picked. And we can talk about what section of the library you might find that book.
I picked the Arnie the Donut book because I like donuts and I'm hungry.
Awesome. Yeah, that is a funny one. That one's right here on Storyline Online. What section of the library do you think you would find that book?
In the Everybody section.
Yes, that is an Everybody section book. It's a picture book. It's a really fun one. It's funny. Thank you for sharing.
I chose How I Met My Monster, which was on the Story Online, and
Okay.
I believe it would go in the Everybody section.
Awesome. Looks like it's loading slowly for me, but yes, I agree. The books on Storyline Online are mostly fiction, picture books. There we go. And yes, fantastic. Thanks for sharing.
I went to Unite for Literacy,
Uh-huh.
and I saw a book on reptiles.
Very nice.
And I think that would go in the nonfiction because it has pictures of reptiles, but it gives me their names.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yes, Unite for Literacy has a lot of nonfiction books. And if we want to learn about reptiles and look at real pictures, we would definitely go to the nonfiction section. Thank you so much for sharing and checking out books. I hope you can use those resources. They are fantastic. All right. So we talked about what book you picked and what section of the library you would find it. We had two people pick a book that would be found in the Everybody section, the Arnie the Donut, and the How I Found My Monster, both picture books from the Everybody section. And then the third book was a reptile book that would be found here in the nonfiction section. If you were to do this lesson in your library, some other further extensions that you could do is having a table set up with old book catalogs or Scholastic flyers with scissors and glue stick, and having a poster for each section of the library and letting students cut out pictures of books and glue them onto the poster. I think it would also be fun to have the letters spelling out everybody or fiction or nonfiction and have them glue those pictures onto those large letters, and then it could be displayed in the library. Definitely beginning the next few lessons by holding up books and discussing what section they came from, or for that matter, anytime you read a book in the library, talking about what section of the library it came from. And then, of course, in a future lesson, continuing on with learning about the Alpha by Author organization of the library and learning about numbers in the nonfiction section. All right. So just to finish up and check your learning, pretend I'm a student wanting to find a book and I need your help. So I want to find a book that will help me learn about the country of Mexico. What section of the library should I visit? And you can drag the red star. Awesome. Yes, I would want to visit the nonfiction section if I'm looking for a book to teach me about a topic and learn facts. I want a longer book that I can read with my family while we take a road trip. What section of the library should I visit? You can drag the red star. Awesome. We would grab a chapter book, which would be a longer book, and you could read throughout a road trip or each evening with your family. And lastly, I want a funny picture book. What section of the library should I visit? Awesome. I would definitely go to the Everybody section if I wanted a picture book. Excellent. It looks like you guys have done a fantastic job learning about the sections of the library. And I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to stop the recording if I can find it.